Lost Destination is a living village museum where the visitor can experience the life as lived by Zimbabwe's ancestors hundreds of years ago. Its founder, PK Chiunye, has been the collector of ancient artifacts, traditional weapons, art, musical instruments, tools and other items used in the past, and these are now exhibited in Lost Destination.
You are now at the last destination where you can get artifacts, all the traditional things like ngomas, drums, cymbals, walking sticks, fumos, spears, and that's where you can taste the traditional food and traditional fruits. The last destination is situated in northeastern Zimbabwe, and it's 230 kilometers from Harare towards Nyamapanda.
Some years ago, I decided to get a closer look at our past culture and customs, and what is a better place to do that than the Lost Destination. The bus did not leave me at the main entrance, and so I had to walk through some beautiful rural landscape for some few kilometers. At least that's what I thought. But nonetheless, I managed to get a lift in an ox cart which was on its way to a festival at the Last Destination. I found out quickly that I still had plenty to learn, not the least the basic greeting for this area.
Yeah, you see, so I don't very sober one time. You know, very so, yeah. So.
The Lost Destination is a popular visiting site with Zimbabweans and foreigners alike. This place is an eye-opener to many of those who are interested in the cultural heritage of Zimbabwe. It is vital to have a sense of belonging, and I had to go back to my roots and rediscover my Shona culture and traditions left to us many, many years ago. And the Lost Destination is the perfect place to just do that. Although the musical instruments, scorch cuts, agricultural tools, and other household items are modern, they nevertheless are just a replica of the old. The techniques of using them are still the same as hundreds of years ago. Land is still plowed using oxen. The water is collected from traditional wells. Firewood is gathered from the nearest bush. On arrival, I was proud when I knew how to greet my hosts, Mr. and Mrs. PK Chiunye, and the proper traditional custom typical to this area. To fit in with this community, it was vital for me to dress up into the traditional regalia, and this was an experience of a lifetime. Then PK took me on a tour of the Lost Destination. First, I was taken to the Dare of cultural orientation. PK told me that traditionally, Dare is a meeting place for men where older men educate and advise younger men issues pertaining to life, such as hunting, fishing, sexual behavior, marrying in the right family, and discussing other community matters. After the tour began, I saw the Tonga huts, scaffolded upon indigenous timber to prevent the entry from beasts and for the protection from dangerous wild animals that roam the night, the safe way to live. Dare Remuchima, a VIP grandstand reserved for the respectable visitors to watch and enjoy the all-night dances. Especially the rain-making dances and celebrations. A parking space, spacious and safe, partitioned with traditional clay pots where now modern vehicles can be parked. Older vehicles are parked nearby and one can only admire the craftsmanship gone into making of this kind of transportation. Then it was time to check out what our ancestors ate. The indigenous fruits are on display here. The boabab, matamba, shenje, nunguru, and many other varieties. Then PK left me alone to explore a little further within this living museum. The Shona people grew an enormous amount of food crops such as millet, sorghum, maize, most of it top grade with great yields. With such an exhibition as this, one can see into the past. The diet of the ancestors, which was cholesterol-free, no harmful agrochemicals or even those genetically modified crops. These crops were rain-fed and organically grown. The growing of the maize crop in this area is unrivaled. Here on display are sweet potatoes, rapoko, millet, sorghum, nyimo or roundnuts, masao fruit, and guinea fowls. Talking about food, it was time to start preparation of food for the festival. At this time, women take time to pound the millet, meant for thick porridge, commonly known as sadza. It is always accompanied by a song of lullaby to ward off weariness and boredom. In the Shona tradition, a woman takes a grinding stone and the grain and goes outside the hut to grind the grain. I tried this also, but again, I needed advice to do it right. Soon after the grain is taken for sieving to remove the grits that might be found. Smoothness is also checked in order to get the meal. Food preparation, a typical Zimbabwean cuisine. With chefs cutting all kinds of meat such as goat, lamb, beef, vegetables, edible insects and red dishes for the festival, starting long before eating time. The chefs have to do the cooking, tasting of food and other kitchen activity. Now I was hungry, just about lunchtime. Mrs. Chiunye invited me to the food mat, a traditional practice. Walked straight under the roof. Wow, proudly Zimbabwean. The meal is served in wooden plates. Hygiene is paramount and clean water to wash the hands is passed around in a calabash. People gathered around the reed mat. There is no modern cutlery, but mere bare hands for a change. Sats are made out of munga, which is uncommon, dark color, with a rather unusual taste. Unaccustomed, I found the taste a bit strange. After this exotic meal, it is time to explore further through the village museum. At the other wing of the village, other items are spread on white stones, bringing art to the display. On view is shupa for medicine for babies, chirongo water container, fuko specially crafted for sipping beer, hari a beer and water container, and mbia a dish for the relish. This traditional oven, chinji, iron smelting clay furnace, is used by the blacksmith in melting iron ore. Two bellows were used to force air on burning coals under which the ore was placed. From the top of a special liquid was poured on the fire below to separate the metal from the stones. Underground granaries were a form of strategic grain reserve in times of conflict, raids, and famine. These granaries consisted of large underground cavities which had been dug, covered with flat, large stone. The walls of these granaries were plastered with clay and cow dung. A woman's grave is always identified by the type of pots laid awry on the tomb. The clay pot is called fuko. Ngwangwa is an axe used during traditional dances and ceremonies. This axe was also used as a weapon of protection during night journeys or traveling long distances. As I look at this axe, I wonder what kind of life these women led. Bravery, heroic, and leadership. These women must have been great entertainers in their day. The pot on a man's grave is called a gate, which is usually a beer container. An axe, also known as ukano, is placed on top of the grave. Assuming the deceased was a musician, mbira is displayed as a symbol or role he played in traditional dances and ceremonies. I began to see various artifacts like roots with bizarre shapes as art. Some are used to decorate homes. This one appears to be for witchcraft ceremonies. And this is a paraphernalia for the herbalists. This venture into the past, even old-timers would clearly remember these scorch carts with wooden wheels. Arrowheads were usually dipped into poison, normally snake venom or other deadly mixtures meant to instantly kill any hunted animal. Many musical instruments bring that energy and atmosphere conducive for the spirit to show up. These instruments are a vital part of the Shona culture. Across Zimbabwe, music is not limited to entertainment. It serves a purpose to the local community and helps in the conduct of daily routines. The tall drums or ngomas in Shona are used for various purposes. These are mutumbas, used in children dances, tsotsa, dandies, and tungwiras, used for traditional dances. The drums are different in different parts of the country and are used for specific ceremonies in different ways. Here you can see most of the varieties of the drums. There are also horns or wamandas, friction bows, and gongs used in Shona music. Mbira is another important musical instrument consisting of about 30 finely tuned metal reeds set on a wooden base and played inside a gourd resonator. The practice sessions for the winter festival have begun as men start beating up the drums. Those leading ladies join in the coordinated effort to make a ceremony a success. I had to join in as well. These traditional practices bring in even the young. The last destination is something for children. The mothers in traditional Shona were the storytellers and they told stories to the children. These stories were entertaining, educational, and mentored the young. The folklore is about the elephant, the hippopotamus, and the hare, highlighting the value placed on living in a peaceful world where human beings and animals share the environment, coexisting with other people and avoiding conflict. Way back when there was a recreational game like Tsoro, which allowed men to pass time. I was invited to participate, but it was far too complicated for me. Then came the big one for me, the moment of my life. Something I only read in books. It was time with the witch doctor. Many people have gone to Nganga for fortune-telling or getting a charm to find the right suitor. I decided to try find out who my future partner would be. Between the natural and the supernatural worlds. It makes contact with the ancestors. They are still very much alive. Interactions with the dead occur. The spirit possesses the Nganga and begins to utter in a husky voice, only audible to the familiar. The spirit medium, steeped in the tradition of his people and the law of the bush, was the center of it all. Then a brief silence. The spirit comes and is given cold water to cool itself. The spirit is coming from a very hot place and is thirsty. The same water is gaggled and spit on the ground to cleanse the area of evil spirits. A mediator takes her place and begins to assist with the witch doctor. The witch doctor is now deep in the spirit and throws the bones, checking what has been the cause of delay in getting a suitor for me. Spirits are exorcised, and after the cleansing process, now I should find a suitor and get married. The curse has been removed. I'm now revived, and now I see a brighter and joyous future. The festival has started. The welcoming song and dance is performed on reed mats. The song in the festival, the beats, melodies, dances can tell much. They are revelatory, complex and full of texture with beautiful rhythms, extremely entertaining. The Mafua dance is one of the rain-making repertoires. The women lead the dances, performing a variety of renditions. Primarily, these are traditional songs that have been passed down orally and are choreographed for religious rituals. I was allowed to join in. The entire village sings and dances until dawn or until the rain begins. Now, Last Destination is only a ruin of its former glory days. Trouble started with political instability and economic decline in Zimbabwe in 2008. Tourism collapsed and there were no visitors to the Last Destination. Funds from the donors were not coming and all the staff had to move out for security reasons.
This place has gone down because of political reasons, and we had to run away for security reasons. And since 2008, when the economy was down, the place is not moving. And we are looking forward to see, as soon as funds are available, we'll try by all means to let this place go well. And we are looking to build up the huts, the tunnel, the playing grounds, the upper huts for visitors to sit and watch the traditional dance. This is the place where I would like to build up a Ndebele village and would like to bring people from Matebeleland so that we can have the proper Ndebele village here in the Shona area. So by that time, when we finish the Ndebele village, we'll be having 3 villages here. The Ndebele village, the Tonga village, and the Shona village.
But now, political and economic situation has improved. Staff is back at the Last Destination and are hard at work restoring the site. The lack of funds is a big obstacle in restoration and expansion plans, but the people are confident that they will succeed and make the place even more popular with visitors. Zimbabweans who are interested in their cultural heritage, especially school children and other students, have thirst and hunger to learn the ways of their ancestors. Those tourists interested in the cultural heritage of Zimbabwe will definitely be flooding to the site. Soon, and very soon, the living museum will live again.
Vinga, vinga, vinga. binga binga binga, 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 binga binga binga.